Welcome and hello, everyone. I'm Denise Smith of Our Metaverse. We're going to talk about not harming. What do you mean? What do you mean? I don't harm? Well, can we say that? Can we truthfully say that we don't harm, even if it's our intention not to? We're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. I'm going to welcome you all for coming here tonight. Very grateful that you are here. We are a not-for-profit community that is free to anyone. And if someone feels like it's benefiting you in some way, we do welcome donations through Zelle at Our Mettaverse with two T's, METTAVERSE, Our Metaverse at gmail.com is our Zelle donation location, if that works for you. Anyways, thank you for being here. We're going to do 1-minute check-ins tonight. Check-ins are where we just kind of bring what we are presently carrying with us. Sometimes I like to say that check-ins are what I can't let go of to be 100% here right now. So either way, whatever's like looming with you, or man, I've been contemplating this one thing for a week and I'm still contemplating, however you want to bring your 1 minute, please do. And I welcome whoever would like to go first.
I'll go. Well, let's see. I'm doing pretty good. I do have a few things that are going on that are a little stressful, but I feel like I'm doing, okay managing them through like some of the tools that you were talking about that we were able to use. It's so nice to have them and to learn how to use them, right?
Mhm.
Takes some time sometimes, but just right now I'm just getting sort of pummeled with and I think it's just a test, which is good, but with just uh, I guess spontaneity, like not being able to plan. All these things are coming at me that I can't control, and I can't. Um, and of course, we want to control because we want to. That's we always want to feel like that, right? I want to be in control, and so I feel like it's a real test for me. But I feel like I'm recognizing it. You know what I mean? That like that awareness where you like kind of looking out here and being like, oh, I see, kind of, trying to not manage my reactions, but be aware of my reactions to some of the things that, you know, why am I stressed and why am I trying to control? Maybe if I just let loose, let a little bit of slack, it might lighten up a little bit and maybe just give room for answers or give room for things to resolve themselves, kind of, because that seems to happen if you kind of back off a little bit and let things kind of work their way through with a little bit of faith too on that. Just kind of like, okay, I think
Yeah.
it's going to work out, but I need to put some kind of positive thoughts and not too much of that controlling energy on there. So I find myself just trying to take it as a personal challenge, like a step it up a little bit. Like, okay, I see what I'm doing, and I see what I see what how sometimes I'm feeling a little bit intense with it, but also trying to manage it a little bit so that I'm learning something from it. Like I feel the things coming at me, and then trying to react in a different way, I guess. And so that it makes the experience for myself, and it helps me learn how to manage some of these hard things that come our way. So I feel like I'm
Nice.
kind of learning how to do that right now. So it's not so bad, but it's also, it's like I feel good, but I feel like I've got a lot going on in that area. So yeah,
Hmm.
that's what I got going on right now.
Hmm.
Kind of a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? I could do my check-in really quickly. I started this morning with the inevitable disagreement with my spouse. You know, it happens. It doesn't matter who we are and how many certifications we have. A little disagreement with my spouse. Uh, I had to handle it by walking away. Sometimes that's a tool also, you know, and did so, and actually was really proud of, I was not proud of myself because I ended up going to Starbucks for a little reprieve, and I've been trying to boycott them because they support things I don't believe in. But It was a very nice, peaceful place to go and just be and have a little oatmeal and be calm and just get my thoughts. I wrote them down in a little journal, and it was like, okay, we can go back. And then I tried to fix my cable for a little while, and it took hours today. So I thought, wow, if this were 5 years ago or 10 years ago, I would have like wanted to go to resources that are not good for me. I would have probably caused a heck of a lot of harm, and I didn't do either. And so I was really, really like, okay, this bad situation was kind of good. That's my check-in for right now. Thank you. Anybody else?
Well, it's my first time, so I don't know if this is how it's supposed to go. But I like what you said, the fact that you find this space where you are happy with what you're doing, and I think that's what I'm trying to do right now. Because in my case, you see, I feel like I see all around me, and there are issues, like big issues, not like little issues that I can just let pass. Just big issues in all the aspects of my life, except for my son. He's the best thing in my life, But apart from that, in all my responsibilities, there is a huge issue. So there's definitely a lot of anxiety that is built up. With my husband, we're not in good terms right now, and it's been for a long time. So I guess there is a lot of resentment, a lot of big and deep emotions there. So talking about what you were saying at the beginning, kind of like not being harmed, I felt like I was in a point that I was doing it, but without control. I was just reacting, because I understood that later. Um, I think the biggest thing for me is like I tend to hold things. I tend to hold the weight of everything. And at some point, it's just, if you have so many problems, you're gonna feel this. You're gonna lose something out, and it comes out unfiltered. So what I'm doing right now is, a friend told me that I can deal with these situations a second after, and I didn't think about it. I thought that I needed just to stand it. I just have to control my emotions. But just that phrase for me was a trigger of, okay, I don't need to support this. I can deal with this later, in a better way, in a calmer way, and something that makes me feel better with myself, because
There you
if it
go.
comes unfiltered, obviously it affects me.
Yeah.
So now I'm working in that. You find yourself into, I'm gonna move away. I guess my exit right now is like, I'm gonna take a second, and I'm gonna deal with this a second after.
We call that the sacred pause.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but
Mhm.
it helped.
Yeah. Wonderful, Brenda.
Mhm,
Welcome. We're very, very happy to have you here. Thank you.
mhm.
Thank you.
Thank
Stacy, you
you.
want to check in?
Sure, I'll be short and sweet. I've had closer friends and neighbors that have lost their pets lately. So I've been just helping them support them in their grieving of their family member that was lost. And I'm also prepping for a trip and feeling really anxious about that, and all the stuff I've been learning through you and this. It's really, I think it gets like their acceptance and attachment and all that. I really feel like meditation is what I'm needing. And so, boy, that's helping me calm down, because these are nice problems to have when you're trying to figure out how to get away on a vacation and how to let some people come live in your home when you're gone. And it just seems all too much, but it's kind of ridiculous. And so I'm just trying to use meditation. And so that's where I'm at now.
Hmm.
So thank you. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Glad to have you again. Nathan, you there? Rachel?
Hi, welcome, Brenda. It's exciting to have a new face to hang out with this evening. Honestly, it's been a lot of change for us and just stepping up and accepting some new challenges in life. But it's been fun. My husband watched something a few days ago and he's like, hey, I really like this video. This guy for a while now has been waking up in the morning and just saying something amazing is going to happen to me today. And he says it 3 times. And then at night, he says something amazing is going to happen to me tomorrow. And he'll wake up, he'll hold a smile for 30 seconds. And he's like, I think we should just try it. We should just give it a go, see what happens. Right. So I'm like, okay, I like the word amazing, but can we step it up and just do extraordinary? He's like, all right, let's just go for it. So this week has been nothing short of extraordinary with like every surprise around the corner. Yesterday, I'll just give you a small example. My mom lives in Florida and we had a super busy day and she calls me up at noon. She's like, hey, what are you and the kids doing today? I just landed. Do you guys want to get together? And I was like, no way, you're up here? She's like, yeah. Unfortunately, her brother is not doing very well. And so she came up to see him, but she made some time for us. She wasn't sure if she wanted to call us because she just wanted to focus on him this trip. But it so happened that she was able to make a few hours work and we got to hang out with my mom. So it was awesome. So that's just like the beauty in every day. And we're going to keep at it. And I'm excited to see where it'll take us. So even my little one, right? My 3-year-old, she gets all pumped up to say it now too. So it's just a cute little affirmation just to try and have fun with. So thanks.
Thank
Looking
you.
forward to tonight's conversation.
Thanks for the share. All right, tonight we're going to talk about non-harming. I do a little slideshow if that's all right with you. Hopefully it'll be kind of pretty. Let me see if I can get it going correctly with my technological skills. Can you see the screen? Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Rachel, you can. Okay, good. Non-harming also is called Ahimsa. I don't know what language that's in. I think it's Pali. Come here. So look at that. Compassion in practice. That's us, you guys. Woohoo! Okay, so as we do very frequently, as much as I can remember, let's just stop for a second and set our own intention. What will I do? And motivation. Why will I do it? For being here right now. What is our intention for being here and being with each other? And so maybe it's something like I will contribute from the heart, and it will be so that I am open to other people's hearts. Maybe it's something like I will listen with presence so that people feel heard. Whatever it is that you come up with a nice intention and motivation for yourself, remembering that intention guides the heart of our practice. Okay. Thank you. We did our check-ins. Then I like to just take 9 breaths. Sometimes we get our meditation in, sometimes we end up talking, we don't get our meditation in, so it won't hurt this time for us to just start off with 9 breaths. You can move your hand with the nostrils like we've done before. I don't want to teach that right now. I just want to do it. Or we can just get ourselves in a comfortable position. Keeping your spine straight is the Tibetan way of saying that you're clearing channels. And so we're inviting for a kind of a clearing energy. And just slowly taking in through the nose and then out through the nose or mouth, very slowly, maybe observing that you're the observer of your breath, that you're releasing some tension, and then maybe trying to arrive even more in this moment together. Just at your pace, take yourself just 9 breaths. Maybe you'll notice by the 3rd or 4th one that the breaths get a little bit longer. More settled and grounded we get. I would like to invite you to take one big loving welcome breath in and one big loving welcome breath out for Brenda tonight too. Mm. Thank you, everybody. So why would we practice non-harming? Why would we do that? Like some of us might think, I don't harm in the first place. And some of us might go, no, I actually do stuff that I wish I didn't do. And some of us might even say, I actually harm and don't mind doing it. I justified harming others for a lot of times in my life. No, they deserved that, right? And then as I get older, I realize I'm carrying that with me still. I can go back and go, oh my God, I did that to that person one time. So why practice non-harming? Well, it's good for ourselves. We can start there. Sometimes I say it's really hard to give a gift that we haven't been given. And sometimes we have to give ourselves that gift first. And then we can give that gift. So it's good for ourselves. It's good for all beings, not just humans. It's good for dogs and cats and fish and spiders and ants. I've actually gotten to the point where I can take a spider that's in the house and put it on a little piece of paper in a cup and take it outside and wish that it lives well out on the tree out there or whatever it is, right? That's a long way, baby, from where I started. Good for the environment. We learn to take better care of plants, of our water sources and nature. And it's really, really good for our minds. I'm going to repeat in here something that we talk about a lot, and that is that the mind is not the brain. The brain is a physical muscle. The mind is the subtle, super subtle energies that affect that muscle. It's a stream of consciousness that holds memories. There's many things about it's an ever-changing something. The mind can be interpersonal. You and I can be sharing a mind right now of compassion practice. So the mind is much more than a brain only. It's really good to practice non-harming for our mind stream. And when we know we're in a community where non-harming is practiced, our mind feels more free, more unencumbered of negativity, and then unencumbered of fear. And then, of course, it helps our body too. If you think violence is courageous, try non-violence. It takes an incredible amount of courage to say, somebody's doing something that I don't like right now. and like today, I'm going to leave. If I can't just practice it here, sometimes we say when you don't know what you can do that will cause no harm, be a log. That's the directive for us to keep our mind stream clear and not cause more harm to others and ourselves. Just be a log, do nothing. And sometimes nothing's not enough. Sometimes you actually have to remove yourself from a situation to say it's easier to do nothing over here than it is nothing where the situation isn't comfortable. So it takes courage. This is the Dalai Lama on August 24th last week. I kind of like him. He says, nonviolence is grounded in compassion. And I'm going to remind us again, compassion is like empathy. Empathy is feeling what the other person might be feeling. Compassion is feeling what they might be feeling and wanting to do something to alleviate suffering. So compassion is different than empathy in that it has this action at the end of it. It's not just being, it's then intending something, doing something, having an action. So nonviolence is about resisting domination and harm, maybe our own will, our own want for it. At the same time, it's about keeping the door open for the one who harms so that they might transform. There's a story about a Buddhist monk who was in a Chinese prison for like 19 years. And he got out of the prison, spoke with His Holiness, and said, I was afraid for a little while. And His Holiness was saying, why? Because you were being tortured. And he said, I was afraid I would lose compassion for my torturer. That's when we get like amazingly good. We're not there yet. We can get there. With intention, with practice, we're not there yet. Nonviolence is not passive. It is firm. It is based in principle. It is rooted in love. And it always leaving space for reconciling with the other person. I can't deal with it now. I'm out. It's not safe for me. I'm not comfortable. I don't have the tools. I can't continue this. I need to go. And someday when I'm ready, may I leave the space for this to come back together again, but I'm not ready now. Or I am ready now. Okay? So there's a lot of boundaries, There are three main categories of harming. We talk with our teacher, Robina, and her sayings on the bottom. The body and speech are servants of our mind. So what our mind processes and thinks, our words say, and our body does. So we're looking for these three categories of speech. Also, Robina says, every single thing we think and do and say creates our life. Every single thing we think and do and say. So if we get really good at thinking wisely without harm, of doing wisely without harm, and of think and do and say, and thinking, doing, and saying, speaking wisely without harm. An example that I use a lot and still I have a hard time with actually doing in my life is saying when I'm like, somebody just triggered me really hugely, or I triggered myself off something they said, however you want to put that. But when I'm filled with this very fast and very big emotion, at that point, I can say, I'm overwhelmed with emotion right now, and it would be better for me to leave this space. It would be better for me to not talk. It would be better for me to have a break than it would be to continue. Sometimes that's like a buffer to F off. I don't want to see you, right? Like, get out of here, move. So we start by learning how to withdraw the reaction a little bit by asking for that space, by sharing our experience. All right. So how do we harm with our body? Sometimes we can strike or hurt another being with physical violence or abuse. And when I say other being, consider that spider again. Right? Is there anyone here who has never killed a spider? Right? It's pretty common. So we go, oh, wow. Okay. Hold on a second. Maybe there's this instinct to harm inside of me that I don't even know about. So if we start to protect a spider or maybe an ant first, right? Something easy, then we go, wow, if I was capable of not harming that, maybe then I can be capable of not harming the next level of challenge for me. Okay. So we just start with the intention to not harm. Neglecting care is also harming. Okay. If someone is injured and we choose not to help them, we are harming them with our body. Our body could help, and we don't offer the help. Wow. And then harming the environment, polluting or destroying habitats that sustain life. That's our environment. Right? We do that with our body too. We throw litter on the ground or do things, some people cause fires on purpose. Like, what? Where's that coming from? There's harming with speech. So let's talk about those ways of harming that we might know and not know, right? Maybe we have some harsh words. Maybe we insult somebody or we shame them or we speak when we are in anger in a reactive way. Is there anybody here who's never done that? It's very normal. So one of the things that we do as we understand this stuff is have compassion for our own self. We might think, God, I'm the only one that just goes, stop, or just screams at somebody, calls them a name. And then we shame our own self and think poorly of ourselves for it. Certainly, we're not alone. And we can get better. So start by offering some forgiveness and an intention. We're going to get into how we do this later on. And an intention to just see it first and the effect. And then think how we can do something about it. Gossip and slander is rough when it comes to harming speech. We damage somebody's reputation when they don't even know it by saying something. Do you know, I refer to Lama Zopa Rinpoche a lot in here because I got to meet him and he was life-changing for me in 20 minutes. And he had somebody take what I understand was over $1 million from his organization and chose not to go after the person for any of it or get him in trouble because it would ruin his reputation to himself and to others. And Lama Zopa didn't want to harm him for that, for the rest of his life, for having done that. Oh, right? Everything's got some kind of a price tag. And this person's reputation was worth more than $1 million to Lama Zopa. And then deception, lying or manipulating through words so that we can win something. That's harming with our words. Okay. How about harming with our mind? Now, I put this picture up because here is where we consider the mind to be. Here, there's this little, I don't have proof of this. I'm not enough of a yogic practitioner to understand why and where, but supposedly there's a little tiny, like barley grain sized something that holds our consciousness right in our heart center. And so they could do this when they refer to mind, rather than in my mind's going like that. We just consider the idea that what would happen if the mind were here or closer to the heart center. So harboring ill will is harming our own mind, wishing others to fail or to be hurt, even silently. I got to tell you, I'm so guilty of that one for a long time when I was not practicing compassion. Like, I wish that person would just fall, or, maybe politicians, we could wish ill will for them pretty easily these days, right? What would happen if we all started wishing love to these people who are harming? It's so hard. Like, they don't deserve it, though. They're harmers. Well, what if they were overwhelmed by love? What would that do? Jealousy and resentment is harming the mind. So comparing, I refer to Buddhism a lot here, Brenda, because that's kind of my base for compassion studies. I was raised Catholic, so I have, I'm not a person, I feel like the stronger we identify with anything, the more we separate from everything. And so I don't like to say, I am a blank, no matter what it is. I just want to be like, I am a human just like you, and try to lessen the grip on identifying as something. In Buddhist compassion studies, they say that comparing is a violent act to yourself or to another. Why can't you be, my mom used to tell me, why can't you be like Andrea? Andrea's so kind. Andrea's so Andrea was my best friend. I ended up resenting her. Like, I don't want to be Andrea. I want to be Denise, right? It was this comparison it wasn't comfortable. And resenting instead of rejoicing in each other's good fortune. It's not good for our own mind. What if somebody did something great and all we could think from every ounce of us was, I am so stoked that that person did this thing with intention and got what they wanted. How amazing. Just felt it with every bit of us. And then another way of harming with the mind is rigid judgment, holding tight to prejudices or condemning thoughts that cut off our compassion. Right? All Latinos are rapists. That is the craziest, horrible, awful, yucky, off the wall, mistaken thing I can ever think of. And so, so harming. Let's take off this judgment stuff. All these people who want to be here are just like me, who wants to be here. What a difference. So how do we purify harming? How do we make it not harming anymore? What if we really harmed somebody or something and we're just carrying that with us and carrying that with us, thinking it'll never go away and I deserve to be shamed and I'm nobody and it's horrible and nobody can fix it. I mean, these are perpetuating thoughts that will take us to depression, to more harming, to not good stuff. So how do we purify harming? Karma is known as action. So how do we purify harmful action? And to purify unwholesome actions, we cultivate their opposite. That's how we think about it. We try to grow the opposite of what that was. So how does that work? The action or karma, the energy with karma, is shaped by our intention. I'm going to use an example here. I use this example a lot. A woman saw a child, reached down for that child's arm, and yanked that child 4 feet over here. Whoa. If we heard that only, we might say, that is horrible. That's awful karma. And then when we hear that it was because a car was coming and almost hit that little girl and that woman saved her life, the difference in the karma of the exact same action was the intention of it. You can have an intention to harm, or you can have an intention to save a life with the exact same action. So karma is shaped by intention. Does that make sense? At any time, if you go, hold up, I don't understand this one part, hop in, ask questions. Okay. When we've acted in ways that cause harm, the residue of that action remains in our mind stream, remains in our consciousness, our conscious continuum. There's many different words for it, our mind. And so by deliberately practicing the opposite quality, we begin to balance and transform the imprint of that old action. So let's say we used to take things when we were little, that didn't belong to us. We could say, oh, look at that thing I just found, and we took it, right? And then later on, our consciousness is going, I'm having a hard time knowing that I'm just a good person. Where's that coming from? I'm having a hard time knowing that I deserve goodness. Where's that coming from? And sometimes we can look back and say, oh God, I used to take things that weren't mine. So how can we fix that without shaming ourselves for the rest of our life and just adding the next thing that we did? We do the opposite of it. We're going to talk about that a little bit more with a little bit more graphics coming up. So we begin to balance that bad with some good, okay? They call it the 4 opponent powers, if you're going to go strictly into Buddhism with this, on how to purify karma. And it's said by the Buddhists that there is no karma that cannot be purified. How hopeful is that? Right? Super hopeful. All right, so what do I have to do? And then our ego gets in the way. We know we're supposed to do, and then we can't do it. So we just learn. We start planting the seeds of the possibility of purifying our karma. So we call them the 4 R's. The first thing we do is we regret the action. Right? I regret having taken that Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band book from a store when I was in high school so I could be cool with my girlfriends. I don't know why I did that. It was horrible. I so regret it. From the bottom of my heart, I regret it. I've been wearing it since, and it was awful, and I don't know why I did it, and I regret it. And then we use reliance. Now, reliance means we go to something for guidance. So we rely on compassion. What must that store have felt to know that their profit went down because of me? What must the store owner have felt if they had known I had done that on pity for a child that was misguided? All these negative things must have been there. So instead of how do I rely on something better than that? How do I connect to the wise part of me that knows that's not what we do? And so the 3 jewels here are, I'm going to say them in the Buddhist way, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And what that means in another language is some type of higher power, some type of lessons, like the Bible, like the Quran, like different types of lessons that we learn from people who are teaching kindness, teaching compassion. And the Sangha is the community. It's not just community, though. It's community who comes together to practice kindness, to learn more, and to help each other. Everybody can have community, but the Sangha that you rely on is the community that helps you be a better person. Okay? So reliance. We rely on the things that help us, hold us, nurture us, make us feel better, make us love ourselves. We remedy. That's where we actually practice the opposite. So now maybe I would donate books to a worthy cause, which would be a very direct opposite to taking a book from a worthy cause, right? And then resolve. We set an incredibly clear intention to never repeat that act again. Now, I can have resolve 1,000 times with my husband, and it gets challenged, and then I have to go through this whole thing again and try it over again. Right? Okay, let's do it one more time. And it's my personal opinion that our spouses are the hardest because they're a reflection of us. We're just dealing with ourself. You know, we're starting to love every part of ourself, and then parts that we don't love come reflecting right back through our spouse to us, like, oh, shoot. Okay. Anyways, here's the 4 opponent powers for when we act with harm. So here are the categories when we take the harming and we put them to non-harming. How do we non-harm with the body? We think of ourselves, instead of using our body to harm, we use our body to nurture. We use our body to protect, and we use our body to serve life. So if you have the karma of killing, which we all do somehow, ants, you know, mice in the wheat field who take down the tractor takes down when they're getting our wheat for our bread. Even though we didn't intend on it, they killed for our eating, right? There's a million things that the opposite karma, opposing karma of killing, is giving life to that which otherwise would have died. So sometimes you'll see people go to like the fish store and get a million of these little krill that they feed to, or little shrimp that they would feed to another fish. And I go let them out at the harbor and let them go live. Like, because that was like 1,000 giving lives to something that would have died. They get this karma backward, right? So there's this real intention. My son's a fisherman. Sometimes he'll have extra worms and I'm like, I'll go put them out in the garden, right? You know, just like throw them in the garbage. So you give life to that which otherwise would have died. So there's opposites of things. So we can protect and care for life using our body to shield or to comfort somebody or to heal somebody, even our little ointment with a Band-Aid with our children or our friend or something, right? We offer acts of kindness and gentleness, offering a helping hand to cross a street, to hold the groceries, to hold the door open. There's a lot of different things we can do there. And then practicing nonviolence, choosing to cause no injury and to safeguard. So maybe it's easier in one environment than it is in another environment. Then go to that one environment, it's easier again, and practice until it becomes easier in the harder environment. Does that make sense? Give me a yeah. Make sense? Okay. How do we practice non-harming with our speech? Our speech is our #1 weapon, you guys. It's our number one weapon. We look at it like, oh, it's this way to connect people. Oh, it's this way. It's also our number one weapon. So let's be very careful with it. So instead of using speech to cut or divide, we use it to heal, to honor, and connect. So we use kind and gentle speech that soothes, that encourages, that uplifts. We use speech of appreciation. We have this group, this family. Actually, Gary came and spoke to us. He works in hospice, and he came and he spoke with us about the dying stages of life. And his family practices appreciation so much that you like want to invite him over all the time. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you for having us here today. Oh, the food's delicious. Thank you for sharing it. Thank you. It's not cheesy. It's just really honest appreciation. And you feel like, oh, it just brings you into the room in a positive way. It's so nice. Words that protect others' dignity. We might not say, hey, jerk, don't say that, right? No. But we can say, wow, I know you're better than that. You don't need to talk like that. I see a better person in you than that. It works when we say it from the heart. It's really genuine. It's magic when we say that to somebody. They say, I had a counselor one time who said, people tend to see themselves the way we see them. So what in my last certification course, there was this thing that invited us to see them as already free. What if we saw everybody as free from suffering? And when they did something that caused suffering, we reminded them of this beautiful being that's behind that and encouraged them to get to that beautiful being. Sometimes they won't believe us. I am not that. Ah, yes, you are. Oh, yes, you are. We use honesty and sincerity, speaking with integrity so that others feel safe and respected. We don't have to be cheesy. We can honestly see some good in somebody and share it. And then back to our mind. How do we non-harm with our mind? Now, this is where it all begins, right? The speech is the servant of the mind. I wouldn't like this. I almost did this, right? The speech is the servant of the mind. The body is the servant of the mind. So where the mind tends to close with ill will, jealousy, or rigid judgment, the practice is to open with kindness and joy. And curiosity is an amazing, amazing tool. Think about it. You drive down the street, you see somebody, and you're like, what the heck are they wearing? That does not go together, right? And instead we can say, I wonder where they're going. That's fun clothes, right? It just changes you even feel it in your body. It changes.
Yeah.
So we practice loving kindness, or metta with 2 T's, our metaverse. And we silently wish others happiness and safety. May they be well. May they be well. Like sometimes, as soon as I have the judgment mind that instinctually just goes, what the heck? I'll go, may they be well. May that person be well. May they be well. May they be well. And I just try to drown out any of the negative mind that comes up. Just drown it out with something better. Right? Admiration instead of comparison. Let the other's gifts inspire you rather than threaten you. I wonder if I could do that well. I wonder if seeing that they can do that makes me do mine a little better. That'd be cool. And then curiosity. Trade certainty for openness. I wonder what's true for that person. For me, that's Trump. I wonder what's true for him. Very interesting. And then I want to just send him 9,000 hearts in the mail until he opens up the box and it just covers him up and he's got to swim out of them. All right, so there's a little chart. If you guys want to take a little ching, you don't have a million slides. There you go. Body, speech, mind, the type of harm, and its opposite remedy. I can also send these to you anytime you'd like. So there's our main categories, certain types. There's plenty of more types to look up if we go, what else could anybody possibly do with their mind? Look it up. It's tons of stuff. So let's do a practice here. Okay? This one cracks me up. You're driving down the road and someone on the road cuts you off and flips you off. What could be the harmful instincts? I want some shares here.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess you could flip them off or yell at them, or right?
Right?
What a lot of people do. I mean, depends on how so many people are different with road stuff, and you know what I mean. I've noticed that in my family. Like Gracie, my most calm daughter, like has insane road rage. All of a sudden, she's like this most calm person. And you get her behind the wheel, and she's like, "You fuck yeah!" Oh my god! Like Gracie, calm down. I'm freaking. You know, Gracie. It's like what? It's bizarre.
I've been in the car with her actually.
I'm not really like that. I have a different way. I don't take it personal, I guess. But there are other things that I do take personal. So for me, I mean, I guess it would have to be a pretty intense act, and I probably would react to it. But normally, when someone cuts me off, I think to myself, "Oh, then maybe they weren't paying attention," or because I do it all
Right.
the time. I am a spacey driver. I'm like, "Oops, oh sorry," you know what I mean? I'm always cutting people. Sorry. So I guess I'm just trying to extend that same courtesy because I do it all the time myself. Oh, I don't take it personal. That's just me. But I know a lot of people do, and it's like really interesting. But the other things I think I do have other, there's certain things that trigger people and certain things that don't. And for some reason, this is not one for me, but other things do. So, it's like, but it's just funny. Like I guess, but if someone did yell at me and flip me off, I probably would get pretty pissed. You know what I mean? I'd probably be angry.
Right.
What I would do, but
our instincts would be harmful.
Yeah.
And if we had like woken up that day going, today I will not harm. Sometimes you can say I will not harm between 9 and 10. Right? Like start with something that you can actually try to just not harm for the next 15 minutes. Like and I don't realize I'll walk out like I was writing this today and getting everything ready for it, and there was this little bug in front of me, and finally I'm like, God, and I'm like, oh geez, how ironic, Anybody else? Or what can you do that's not harming in this situation?
Give them grace, just maybe thinking maybe they had somewhere important to go, or they just weren't paying full attention. Sometimes people just aren't as paying attention as much. That's kind of what I tend to think.
Yeah.
Then it makes it a little easier on me because then I don't take it personal. So
then you don't carry that negativity in your mind stream with you either.
Yeah, thinking that somebody's doing something to you. Because once you start thinking that people are doing stuff to you, then it gets really intense, and you're like, oh, you know what I mean? So
it goes on and on and on, right?
Right. So I try to.
It's like the train in meditation when we're trying to focus and we get on this one. The next thing you know, they're doing it to me. That's because of this, and that's where they're at, and they must have this. Next thing you know, they're in the other never land. It's like just try to stay right here. All right. Here comes the next one. Your child yells, "I hate you."
Ooh.
What could be harmful instincts from our body? Maybe not this community.
Yeah.
But some people might want to hurt the child with their hand if they spoke like that. From our speech, there could be the instinct to want to tell them something negative about them. Just a reactive, boom, just here come negative energy. I want it out of me. I'm going to put the energy right back. Like, when we get to be really good we transform energy. We literally transform energy. Negative came to me, and immediately we just go, oh my God, I hope that person's okay. They must be really suffering to act like that right now. A lot easier with our kids sometimes than with whomever, right? Somebody at work, like, oh, poor thing must be suffering. You're like, get out, just be quiet. Or from our mind, what could be going on in our mind, even though we keep our mouth closed and we don't hit somebody? We could still say, God, whatever, just go off. So then we practice the opposite instead. We start getting those instincts out. What can we do with our body? Maybe we can like hold our hands together. Oh, I don't know why you want to talk like that, but I see a better person in you than those words. Right? So we can hold our body, just hold it, resist. From our speech, just like I did an example from right now. And from our mind, we know that hurt people hurt people. We know that. So this is when mantra and those sayings come up to my mind. May they be well, may they be well, may they be peaceful, may they not suffer, may they be okay. And just drown out the other instinctual stuff. Okay, one more. Your boss thanks you for a job well done and then takes credit for your work, and she gets a promotion because of it.
Sneaky.
What could be harmful instincts here? For me, I might have the instinct to go eat a lot of sugar. And I could be using my body to harm my own body in a situation like this. So what might we be doing with our body, even to ourselves? Maybe we're going to go have 3 shots of tequila because we can't handle it. Maybe we're going to, right? What are we going to, watch those instincts there. From our speech, now we're not only going to think horrible things, but now we're going to go call all of our friends and ruin their day by telling them horrible things about our boss.
Let me just ruin your day. There we go.
Right? And our mind behind that whole thing is just like, oh, this wasn't right. And I did all the work and it wasn't fair. And we go on and on and on and on and on and on. So what if we practice the opposite, right? Sometimes when we're extremely well practiced, we can say, this will come to me in time. And we practice patience and we wish the boss well. That plants a seed that will grow later on, but it's a really hard one to plant. From our speech, that was an example of that too. And from our mind, okay, she worked really hard. I hope it doesn't come back to her that she cheated to get there. May it benefit her in a way that is so good that she was just waiting to bring me up 2 levels instead of 1. Right? I have a couple more, but in the saving time, I'm going to go flinging through them. All right, so there's this story called The Stone in the Hand. There once was a man walking home late at night after a long, hard day. He passed by a corner where another man had cheated him months before, taking his money and leaving him humiliated. The wound of that betrayal still stung deeply. As fate would have it, on this night, the very same man who had wronged him stumbled into his path. He was drunk, disoriented, and vulnerable. The betrayed man's hand fell to the ground and closed around a smooth stone. His heart pounded. Here was his chance to strike back, to finally make, I have to go backwards. There we go. Sorry, I was moving the mouse. To finally make the other feel the pain that he himself had carried. But in the moment, he remembered the words of his grandmother. When you throw a stone, it may leave your hand, but it never leaves your heart. He looked down at the stone and then at the fragile man before him, and he felt the weight of both of them. Slowly, he opened up his hand and he let the stone fall silently back to the earth. And he walked away without a word. And months later, he was approached by that same man who had wronged him. Now sober, he bowed his head and said, "I know what I did to you, and I know that night you could have harmed me, and I could see it in your eyes, but you didn't. You spared me from your anger, and that mercy changed me. Thank you." Mm. When we choose not to harm, even when the world might say we have every right to harm, we create the conditions for healing.
Mhm.
I was telling Carrie today, Carrie's my husband, I was telling him, do you know why we work on healing and more healing and more healing? Because we're still harming. We're still harming. So we still have to work on healing until we get to not harming anymore. And then we get to call ourselves healed. That's our sign that we know we're healing, is we stop harming. Non-harming doesn't erase the past, but it opens the door to transformation for both the one who refrains and the one who receives. Okay, I'm going to offer you guys a break before we do a meditation tonight. I'm going to not share. You guys want to share anything just from that presentation? I'm going to take a break first.
Well, I can share that I really, it's really nice to be able to see that some of the things, or be able to feel that some of the things that we've done that we don't feel so good about are karmically able to be reversed, I guess is the word.
Purified. They say
Purified, that's the word,
purified.
yeah. So I love that because it just offers so much hope and it offers so much, and when you can do that, it really does stop you from doing it again the next time, even though we've probably evolved since then. Like when we were teenagers, sometimes I did things that were stupid or mean or, you know what I mean? And sometimes I still carry those things. I feel bad about them, but I've done a lot of work, within certain programs that I have, which have helped me uncover some of that shame or whatever it is. And then to be able to like maybe do some sort of purification of that. And so it's really nice to be able to have that. I think a lot of people don't even think about that too often, but when you offer somebody that, like, hey, you know what? We've all done things that we wish we hadn't done, and you can do something about it. Because a lot of people just feel like they can't do something about it, but guess
Right.
what? You can. And that's so
Right.
cool. How cool is
And
that?
the older I get, the worse it's going to get because it's just going to keep compiling.
And
Right?
so
Like, oh,
I feel like everybody needs to know that,
right.
Yeah.
You do.
to know that even though we've messed up and we've done things to hurt other people and hurt ourselves, we can still kind of get,
Make
like
up for
make
it.
it better and not do it
Yeah.
again. You know what I mean? And all
Plus, it gives total hope for getting old. Like there's
yeah,
not a lot to like look forward to, but in aging. But with that, if you're like, my purpose will be to do this, and as we do it, we feel the weight
yeah,
lift.
and even
Really
go
something to look forward to.
as far as possibly, like, if you really felt like it, to make an amends to someone, like
Yeah.
hopefully, like, to even write them a letter or write them, I'm so sorry that I hurt you, I know that I did. And sometimes that can really either repair relationships or it can just free your heart and your
Yes.
heaviness, so it's just such a beautiful option that I hope that everybody knows is there for them. You know what I mean?
Guess what?
But
Everybody won't.
I know. We're the lucky ones because we get to be here learning this,
We're
right?
so lucky, right?
Yeah.
They always say, like, if you have been brought to compassion and you have been brought to compassion in some type of community, you have to understand how rare that treasure is. Right?
Probably something that can really transform your life and other people's, and that kind of.
Slowly but surely, those around us, they can feel it.
Mhm.
All right, let's do a quick break. Welcome back. Thank you. We're going to do a guided analytical meditation. Okay, Stace got it. Sorry. Thank you. It was great to see you.
All right, Stacy.
You're gonna hang out for a little bit and then go.
I'm
when
gonna
you-
try.
Okay, good. Good. So this we're just gonna think, what if, and how about this, and then what if, and then I'm gonna guide us through this, okay? And we'll just go that way. So get yourself in a comfortable position, back straight, take yourself like do a little bit of grounding if you need to put your feet flat on the floor, or if you need to put your hands. This is the mudra that I use all the time. It's the concentration mudra, right? Mudra means hand gesture. If it feels good to just put your hands on your legs, that's fine. If you want to touch your tummy, that's a super grounding place. And then just take a couple breaths to arrive where we are together to start our meditation. And close your eyes. And with your next inhale, bring some awareness into your body. What's going on in my body as I try to set off? Now I'm going to invite us to bring up something. And by that is just to think of a scenario at one time when. And if you can't bring it up, that's okay. Sometimes when we're starting to become aware and we can push things down or bring them up at will, it's not as easy. It took me forever to be able to go, oh, okay, let's bring that one thing. I was way too afraid of my emotions to just bring them up. So if that doesn't work for you, just flow with it. Don't be negative on yourself. So bring up a time when you harmed something, someone, or another being. Just one event. What was that action that you did? Was it hitting or yelling maybe? Or thinking maliciously about someone? If you can let yourself feel it in your body a little bit. Consider the moments before it that led up to choosing that harm. How many thoughts were around harming before the action got to harming? If the body and the speech are servants of the mind, what could you have done with the mind to avoid arriving to the point where you inflicted harm? Would you have felt better afterwards to not have afflicted harm? And then just take a pause here. And take a few breaths, just considering that. Would the other person have felt better? I think that one's kind of a given. And would you have felt better? Just hold that with a couple of really sacred breaths. And then as we close here, if you choose, you can join me by saying or praying, may all beings be free from suffering. Including myself. Sometimes you can put your hand on your heart or your belly, or both. May all beings be free from suffering, including myself. And a Tibetan mantra for that is Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. And when you're ready, open your eyes. I'm wondering, 5 days. I'm wondering if anybody had thoughts before the action that they became aware of. It was kind of a fast meditation to go through all of that, but could you remember the thoughts leading up to the harm? Hold on one second.
Yes, I do.
Can you remember the thoughts, Brenda? I mean, you don't have to
Um,
share them. You don't have to share them. It's
yes,
just,
yes. It's like a moment that is kind of like an avalanche of thoughts that it might be even greater than my actual response, but it builds up this angerness.
Yeah. Interesting. Do you find any thoughts beforehand, Auntie? I call Marie Auntie Brenda.
Um, uh, I I felt, well, it was part of it was when I was a little bit younger, so I kind of feel like the thoughts were a little bit selfish and just not thinking about the other person so much. I think they were just self-absorbed thoughts because I was a self-absorbed young person, and I didn't have the compassion that I have now, and so the thoughts were just very selfish. I think, you know what I mean.
Interesting.
That's all I can come up with at the time because it was, and it was,
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you more later. It's a longer
Yeah.
story we'll talk about. But anyway, that was what was coming up for me.
Super interesting. How about you, Rach?
Oh, hold on. Oh, you know what, you guys? I'm so sorry. I have to leave. I have a guest. I have someone that's coming over to see me
Okay.
right now about oils. I'm so sorry. To have a
Okay.
meeting.
Thank you, Auntie.
Good
love
night,
you.
Marie.
One by one, we're dwindling here.
I'm sorry.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. I can't. Oh, there you are, Rachel.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the thoughts definitely came up, and actually, it helped to release some of the guilt I personally felt. Noticing that a lot of it was not my fault. I did what I could. I said, hey, I need space. Hey, I need you to respect me. And then, that person didn't. They chose not to. And, words were said afterwards. So, in hindsight, walking away is always at that point, the best option. But, it was a lesson.
Yeah,
Lesson in
that
that.
we all have. That we all have. All right. As always, I want to ask for forgiveness. If there's something that we brought up that was super triggering or uncomfortable for you, that is not my intention, and please forgive me for that. If there's anything that you said that you're feeling like, oh, I shouldn't have said that, or that was too sensitive, or you're criticizing or wondering about yourself, I'd like you to offer yourself forgiveness also, please. And then I'd like to take the merit that we earn by coming together with such positive, wonderful, kind intention and immediately give it out to those who are suffering. May they not suffer. May they find love and belonging and peace in their mind. May they experience on all levels less harm, whether it be receiving it or giving it. And may all wars end immediately. Thank you for being with us this evening.